onslaught of my visceral thoughts. Welcome to all the spiritual beings living life in a physical form. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. How else would you prepare for battle during the calm before the storm? Between the winter wars and summer solstice epochs, therein lies the renewal of the spring equinox. I'm sprung from the sound waves that the bells rung, heartbeat pulsating to the rhythm of the cosmic drums. The breath of life satiates my cell membranes to activate my ability to travel through different planes of existence. My mission is to remain persistent, to teach the kids how to be patient and resilient in the face of adversity, because they represent the future's fecundity. The mind is fertile like the earth's reproductive soil, with the indelible truths wrapped tighter in a DNA coil. What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Crypto Wonder. Hope you're doing well. Let's get right into it. How y'all feeling? You know, I always start my blogs with sort of like a mellow type of intro, and not as far as the music, but yeah, even the music or whatever. But my tone always starts yellow. Wow, it starts mellow, and I'll end maybe on a high note. Especially the live streams. The live streams I start regular, and then I go in my rants, right? The passion takes hold of me, and it's just like something else. It's night and day within the same stream, and then I try to close it out in a calm manner. So it might go like that again this time. You know, it might sound like I'm ranting, but it is what it is, because every time I create content, I just try to be as genuine as I can from my perspective, right? In life, period. That's just me. You know, shout out to everybody. So, you know, with this crypto thing, we're trying, you know, it's just like, it's just all it is. It's just about figuring out the best way to make money, being in absolute, well, not absolute, but at least having a great deal of control over the money and earning it in a trustless way, earning it in a way where you're passively receiving rewards consistently on a regular basis, where it makes sense, and where you don't have to worry about a lot. You don't have to worry about the plug being pulled from the wall outlet, basically cutting you off from that stream, you know? That's really what it's for. That's really what it's all about, in my opinion. Among other things, you know, right now with everything surrounding, for example, DeFi. If you're in DeFi and you've been in DeFi for a long period of time, you know, you have to know about Hex. You have to know about just the smart contracts and how they work. And if you didn't hear about Hex, I don't know, you probably, living somewhere far remote from DeFi civilization, because it's just what it is. You know, in the beginning, I didn't believe in Hex at all. And it's been a costly mistake, like a very, very costly mistake on my end, an error on my end. You know, many people are not pleased with one person basically who hasn't admitted, but many people are not completely haven't bought into the idea of the whole origin address and who controls it and who owns it, right? Who has the power to oversee the origin address. They're not, 99.9% of people in the know believe the founder owns the OA, and it's sort of like a troublesome thing for some people to accept, right? And why is that? Why is that? It's because, folks know people are flawed. And at any point, let's say something happens and the founder goes, let's say, God forbid, just wants to do something malevolent instead of benevolent, well, then that would, all the suspicions that people have would ring true. But you find in many areas outside of crypto in life where you have one person or a single group of people or entity who manages or owns or oversees the majority of products that we consume, or that even the majority of ownership of a company that we might invest in. And we don't usually criticize them or, put the scope on them and the magnifying glass over them and say, hey, you CEO of this Fortune 500 company, I'm not pleased with the fact that you own the majority of the shares or the, of the company. So it's weird. It's weird when I see the same thing happen or the same type of criticism applied in crypto, and especially with the Hex ecosystem. I get it, because human beings are flawed. At the same time, we've also learned that what does it really mean to be truly decentralized, like 100% decentralized? Right? We often hear about the whole Bitcoin narrative. And then, I've learned, well, where was the best time to acquire Bitcoin? When the founder of Bitcoin had all of it. I mean, people can argue that if they want, but the charts don't lie. Right? It's weird. It's just weird. And there were always talks about recycling the ETH. Where's the ETH go? Things going on in the, adoption amplified, the lobby. Like, there was a bunch of things that raised questions. Folks did their deep forensic blockchain analysis. Even now, with the sacrifice addresses, folks are questioning and watching what's going on, because $1.7 billion worth of crypto were sacrificed to, Pulse Chain and Pulse X. And so people are antsy, even though everything was all about having no expectations of profit from the work of others. These teachable moments that we didn't think about. Well, I'm not going to say we as in, like, it's just a general statement. For me, I didn't really understand what that meant, as far as being able to identify what's a security between what's not a security. It wasn't important to me. But learning and having the information helps to understand how things are and why they are the way they are, right? How we test and all this stuff. And we get it. because we still have entities outside of crypto who are trying to control the crypto. They don't want you or I, to have the control, to have the say, to have the power, to basically wield our own destiny, which is quite upsetting, disturbing, and unfortunate. But hey, these are the reasons why we are dealing with the climate and the conditions, the financial conditions that exist today, and trying to find ways to combat the negative implications and what they have on regular people like you and I. When you're in debt, when you way above your head in bills, overhead, have to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. You never could really find yourself ahead of a situations, because it could be lack of financial education, it could be poor money management, right? We haven't really been trained in these school systems to understand what money is and how to make money work for ourselves. We didn't really learn that until we hit the ground running, leaving the educational system and having to support ourselves, whether from the street or in the legal suites, corporate suite. A lot of times right now, I see Hex has been very successful in the crypto space. It just has. And the advent of Pulse Chain and PulseX, in order to deal with the weight, some people allow themselves to become emotional because they have to deal with the waiting. The waiting is difficult, right? When we talk about maximum gains and all this stuff, and you want to see the whole 10,000x narrative created a monster, because people, including myself, didn't believe that Hex would even make 10,000x in 2.5 years. They made it in 20 months or so, less than 2 years. And so it created a monster to where folks want to also know and experience what that feels like. And because, we were presented with these principles of having no expectations of profit from the work of others, and made things a little bit weird for some who are not used to that, and more difficult, because when you overextend yourself, right, you put everything on black or red, and you're still waiting for that roulette to spin, right? The roulette is still spinning, the table's still spinning, but you got everything on red, and you got everything on black, and it didn't land yet because you're waiting, no expectation of nothing. You just put it on black and you walked away. But meanwhile, you're waiting because you took a big risk, because it's all risky. Sometimes you'll get emotional. Sometimes you'll become, angry, aggravated, frustrated, pissed off. Want to just throw it all away. But then it's that last moment where you want to give up. That's when things may just turn around, and it may land on black, or it may land on red for you. And you might very well win. I'm just a glass half full type of person. That's a perspective I come from. Like, I'm glass half full. Every time when I sit back and I think about what I could have had, or what I need, or what I want, sometimes I forget about what I already have. And a lot of times when I really take inventory of what I have, oh yeah, my glass is always half full. Even more so if I really look at it. And you got to be grateful. because some of these things that we take a chance with, we don't know how the turnout is going to be, but we're betting on a chance that it'll be great, that the turnout will be marvelous, beneficial. Because I'm going to tell you, when post-chain mainnet launches, the shift, you're going to see the energy shift. The shift that's going to take place is something that I'm looking so forward to see. I don't care about a sell-off. Personally, I don't care about any of that, whatever. The blockchain is active. That's what we care about. The DEX will be active. That's what we, care about. The rumblings of V3 possibly being the actual main net is always there too, because human beings are just, inquisitive and hopeful, and it's cool, but I'm not really joining that hype train right now until it's active, because I know in the meantime, staking has just brought a certain level of comfort and peace of mind that I appreciate seriously, because again, like I've said this before, and I've been saying this recently a lot. A year ago, just staking Hex, we did not see, or even, many of us didn't sort of like foreshadow how staking Hex would provide you with free Hedron tokens, which 6 months after the Hedron contract was launched, you now have ICOSA just from staking Hex, Hedron, that you could stake with the ICOSA contract, that you could also stake to earn more ICOSA and Hedron. And that's just from staking Hex. That's just from a year ago. And that's just a few of the many types of utilizations that exist now. That exist now in a bear market. In a bear market. That's why, one of the main reasons why I don't shill other things, because in the 6 years that I've been dealing with this market and learning, participating, etc., I've seen so many things come and go. So many scams come and go. Seen the best of them, like folks who you would just be charmed by the way they speak and present information and the projects that they're trying to promote to you, all thousands and thousands of, no exaggeration. And then it turns out that 99% of them turned out to be trash. 99%. And the ones that aren't trash are struggling. They're struggling. You got different crypto communities even right now within DeFi that are literally struggling. They're either dormant, extremely stagnant. They're struggling to create and generate interest for people to raise the price, or people to buy into whatever it is that their community represents or that the community utilizes. But it's not quite the same for Hex. In a weird way, it's not. You have communities that deal with their smart contract projects, where in the beginning, when the projects launched, and especially if it launched and it touched the bull market, Everything worked out. Everything was on a high. People were making money hand over fist over their intangible, on the computers and their wallets. They were just making all kinds of bread. And everything was great until it all changed. And people are not buying. The prices start dropping. 80, 85, 90, 95% corrections. And they seem like it's underwater. And it seems like even during those periods where the prices have dropped so severely, these communities try to implement or add new things to their ecosystems and to their projects to sort of like invigorate and reinvigorate or generate more interest to have people continue to buy into, or have new people join and see what's going on, to add to the community of the people that were there prior, just so that these contracts continue to work and do what they do. This is something that the community, I've seen time and time again, it fails to generate the interest and the volume that it needs so that everyone could also benefit, especially if you have a situation where you have this curse word of zero-sum activity taking place. Some of these contracts are zero-sum, and you see it where you'll always have someone who's holding the bag of L's, a bag of losses. And it's not cool. It's not. I see it in Hex where people, they get pissed off and they sell. And not just sell, but sell millions, up hundreds of millions of Hex. And guess what? They barely make a dent in the price. And then soon after the sell happens, the Hex gets bought up again. Over 3 Over 3 years. Granted, it's ugly. The prices are ugly. 95% correction from 55 cents to 1.8 cents, 1.7 cents. That's disgusting. Not even gonna hold you, like the kids say. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not cool. It's difficult for a person, especially if you're trading and you're holding liquid and you just, you're not involved with the staking whatsoever. You just been holding this bag and you watch a 55-cent Hex that you bought, or 50 cents or 45 cents drop down to 2 cents. Oh, it's gut wrenching. If you have a short-term view, you'll be pissed off. But if you're staking, that level of emotion and anger is tempered. Because you don't necessarily have to watch price every day, all day. And then the whole thing that I think also that's keeping the interest going is because Hex can't be changed, and it is designed the way to work the way it works. And some people may fall out of interest because it's quite boring. When you're just staking 15 years, there you go. It's boring. You're holding. Holding is boring, right? Being a hodler is boring, but being a hodler is one of the main ways for you to succeed in this. On top of that, the sacrifice periods were made to have no expectation of profit from the work of others in creating a blockchain that's supposed to be superior to ETH 2.0 and creating a DEX to go hand in hand with Pulse Chain. The opportunities there and for everybody to receive the same coins they have on Ethereum onto Pulse Chain. The opportunities there are tremendous. And that's what also complements the waiting period, or as far as letting some type of faith and hope into the longevity of this ecosystem and the strength of the ecosystem. And then the building that's taking place as far as even right now with the derivatives that exist right now that wasn't here a year ago, a year and a half ago, also helps to propel the system and strengthen it and generate interest to keep people buying into. That's what happened. This is what I'm saying. Like, folks, that's what I saw that's lacking in many communities. After the hype, whatever hype period lasts, however long it lasts, it could last for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Once that period is done, and then you go into the down cycle, it's hard to generate something organic, like to have something, to create another cycle of highs, to then have a low and another cycle of highs again. It's hard to do that organically, where people hear about it and say, oh yeah, so this is almost like it's running on its own without any manufactured type of pumps that's needed, where, people just conspire in the background. And maybe that happens, right? You have a collection of people, big whales, they just want to, do what whales do. And that happens. That happens. But a lot of communities right now are like dead in the water or stagnant. And the investors who invested in those communities are the ones who are suffering. Why? Why? That's why I don't shill other things. I don't shill. I'm not, someone asked me to shill like the other day, yesterday. Like, yo, you just don't know. And I had to respectfully decline because I'm not into that. I don't care about, that's just not me. Other people, that's their shtick, that's their thing. They let them do what they do. Fine, go ahead. But I'm not going to do that. That's why I haven't even been a strong advocate for, projects that are coming onto Pulse Chain. It's not because I don't want them to succeed. It's because experience and history has shown otherwise. It's just what it is. You can't stop it from happening. I get it, but I'm not going to be the voice to talk, because I also understand I have a responsibility as someone who's speaking on this internet. And maybe somebody might listen. If I say something, it might be heard and received in a way. If I'm talking about something that I'm not even sure about, just because I'm getting, a kickback, if you will, or compensated or whatever to shill a project that inevitably ends up rugging everybody, then the onus falls on me. And I don't need to deal with that type of energy. I don't need to deal with that type. For what? I create content because I enjoy it. I don't create content to screw people or to dupe people or making people believe something that isn't true, and they end up getting hurt. I can't live with that on my conscience. That's why I never speak in a way where I'm telling you what you should do with your money, because I don't give financial advice. I just talk crap on the internet to try to be responsible and conscious of what I'm saying as well. When these chains drop, when the Pulse chain and Pulse X drops, is gonna be something else. And that's the thing too. Like, I stopped talking about Pulse chain, not because I don't believe in it, it's just because many people are talking about it, and that's fine. They're giving updates on places like Twitter, which I don't care for as far as crypto stuff. But sure, you get your information there. You can go on Telegram groups, etc., etc. There are ways and outlets that are available for people to remain updated on what's going on. The founder likes Twitter a lot, and he's giving updates when he can. Might catch him on a couple streams or interviews here and there, but the community is thick and active in providing information, so you won't be in the dark. But at the same time, I'm at this point, I'm just enjoying the rewards, enjoying the yield, and waiting for mainnet. Period. That's it. I don't jump on a hype train about some V3 and all that, Aragon, Schmeragon. I don't listen, man. And that's another thing with me, right? If I'm going to purchase a vehicle, I just want to know if that vehicle is going to be safe, if it's cost effective, and it'll get me to point A to point B. I don't need to know the mechanics of how this thing runs under the hood, because that is just not my interest. When I acquire a smartphone, I don't need to know about microprocessors and this chip or that chip and that this and that technical blah blah blah. And I just want to know this thing works for the needs that I have. Does it do the job? When I'm buying, if I need something to wear, I'm going to a shoe store and I'm copping some shoes. I don't want to know how this thing was manufactured in some type of plant somewhere. Hopefully, some people weren't under some sweatshop conditions doing, I don't want to know how this thing was built. I just want to know if I put it on, it's not going to hurt my feet and look decent. Let's go. Let's go. That's all that matters. Like, that's me. So with the development and everything taking place with the chain and everything, and let's go. Like, just let me know when the grand opening, when the day of the grand opening, if you will, mainnet, and then it's gonna be on and popping for real. For real. There'll be a point of no return. It's again, once it's on, it's not, you can't shut it down like Solana. You won't be able to shut Pulse Chain down like Solana. You won't be able to close a Pulse Chain store like Solana is doing. They opened up a store, people. Like, how corny can you be? They opened up a store. And they opened it up like last summer, Solana, and they're about to close one of their stores down, because who's going to walk into, really? That's not what's happening this side of things, on this side of the DeFi pond. Facts. So, folks, with that, I bid you adieu. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.